Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Emily Tennant about Influencer, which is streaming now on Shudder. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to chat with you. I love this film. Anytime, a new movie, a horror movie comes out, you know what I mean? I'm in all the time, but specifically this one because of the scenery and just the concept and the intrigue just from seeing the posters, you know what I mean? I was super in, so I loved it and I want to kind of dive into it, but I kind of want to know about your involvement with the project or the audition process. Like, what was that like for this one specifically?
Absolutely. This was a unique process. I didn't get the audition from my agent, which is how these things normally go. It was a little bit more of word of mouth through a friend. Curtis David Harder was looking to put together his cast, and a friend of mine recommended me. She said, I think Emily would be great for this. She called me. She goes, how would you feel about going to Thailand and working with a guerrilla crew on an independent film? And I'm like, that sounds great. I'd love to do that. So she's like, okay, I'm going to put your name forward. And then I got to meet Kurt. We kind of had a one-on-one meeting. He really wanted to bring people on board that got along well, right? Yeah. It was going to be tight quarters. We were going to be traveling around Thailand for 2 months, in cars together. Some of us working as crew. Sometimes we're working as cast, just kind of, we needed to make sure everyone was going to get along and play well together. 100%. And then we do a table read. And so just to test everyone's chemistry, which was so cool. It was the first time I got to work with Cassandra No and Rory. And it was just, it just felt like a really great fit. So when I got the email that they wanted me to play Madison, I was ecstatic.
So I'm glad I didn't ask, what was the audition process like? Because you were like, well, it was a bit different.
It was different. But
sometimes I literally have some questions that sometimes I'll have to reword because I just maybe I assume it's not clear cut or something, right? Where what's the audition process? They're like, actually, I didn't audition for this. I was, offered the role, and I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, oh, where do we go from here?
Exactly. I do find it interesting because one of the things I loved about this movie is down the middle, you've got the traditional kind of horror tropes, and there is, a lot of the traditional jump scares and the gore and everything. I don't want to go into big spoilers, but it's got the good stuff for the horror movie fans. But it's got the psychological game and the whole people are scary kind of concept as well. Did you notice that balance when you read the script for this as well?
Absolutely. That was what was so exciting about the script. It was like, how is this going to play out? And how is this all going to come together? And I will say, even in the middle of filming in Thailand, things were shifting and changing. It was like, oh, this plan we had for how this was going to go, we're actually going to scratch that entirely. And we're going to go a different route, which was cool. And the movie's so much better for it. So it was still living and breathing while we were there, which was awesome. And you could definitely feel that in the script from the get-go.
100%. And this is not your first horror movie. I kind of mentioned before we started as well, Open 24 Hours. I love that film. Just a really kind of just a big slasher and just a slasher. You know what I mean?
Full on, a lot of blood.
A lot of blood. What's it like though, working in that genre that's been around forever, but now there seems to be this real kind of surge of a lot of horror movies. You know what I mean by that? It's interesting.
It does feel like that. I love it. I would love to do more of it. A dream of mine would be to play the other side, the supernatural, a demon, something scary like that. But as far as slasher horror, things like that, it's fun. It's fun. The blood and guts and the special effects and screaming and crying. I mean, who doesn't love doing that stuff?
It's interesting as well because we don't want to go into big spoilers, but an Influencer, your character obviously has to kind of pivot and figure a lot of things out throughout the whole process. She thinks that she's meets a friend and then the whole world gets turned upside down. What is that preparation like, a character that just has her world literally turned upside down? Because you've probably worked on projects that aren't horror that maybe the characters have their kind of lives changed, right? So I'm just curious about that a little bit.
Well, it's interesting. I think as people, that's life, right? You're going in one direction and then the rug gets pulled out from under you and you're going, okay, wait, I need to recalculate here. So I think it's actually quite a common thing in life, and I try to relate to my characters in that way. And Madison, she's interesting because she could be very one note, right?
Yeah.
Influencer, right? We all have an idea of what that looks like and who that person is. And I think Madison will surprise you. I think through the film, it's nice that we get to see the other side of it, right? She's telling everyone she has this fabulous life and she's so happy and she's traveling in Thailand. And then you see the phone come down and she's like, I hate everything. I'm alone. And why am I doing this? And yeah, I just think it's really interesting.
It is really interesting. Is it all storytelling for you, or depending what the project is, does the mindset change a little bit? Because you look at a lot of the projects you've worked on, a lot of different genres, even kind of, you're starting out working on Mr. Young and YTV and everything. These are all different kind of worlds. Is it different mindset preparation or is it all storytelling for Emily Tennant?
Ooh, that's a deep question. Yeah, I'd say the preparation looks different depending on the project for sure. I got to do a really cool horror movie right before I left for Thailand, and it's called Zoe MP4. It hasn't come out yet.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, because I want to watch that. You're right.
Yeah. My co-star was the fabulous Julia Sarah Stone, and a really unique independent project. Really, so much preparation went into that, particularly with dialogue and backstory. Whereas like a Mr. Young, it's a different sort of preparation. You're a multi-camera set. You're preparing your timing. You're getting your lines 100% exactly right. Your beats are in order. The technicality of working on a multi-camera set too. So I'm always into heavy prep. It just looks different for every role.
I gotta tell you, because I've also interviewed Brendan Meyer as well. I didn't watch
all the
yeah, I know. Shout out to Brendan. I mean, I didn't watch every episode of Mr. Young, but I remember one episode that, when you watch TV shows, like some episodes here and there, and there's just some stuff that always just stays with you for some reason.
Yes.
The episode where he creates a robot, right? Like a robot.
Oh, Mr. Robot.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, and then the whole must destroy Tater. Like I always said. I always had that in my mind. I don't know why. I'll never forget that. Yeah, I will never forget. I don't know. I remember watching it one day on YTV. It was on in the background. I just remember that scene, must destroy Tater.
And then he shoots toaster out of his butt. Classic.
And then but then she's also like, I want to, and then one of the characters like, I wanted tater tots. And he's like, tater? No, he's like, I wanted mashed potatoes, not tater tots. And he's like, tater? And he squishes. Oh my God.
It makes my heart so happy that you found joy in that show. It's one of the favorite jobs I've ever had. Everyone on that set is like family to me.
Fire.
Brendan Meyer.
And also one of the best intro songs of a show ever, Hot Hot Heat. I mean, we have to give a shout out.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, oh my gosh, this brings me so much joy. Thank you.
What was so funny too is I listened to Hot Hot Heat and I remember seeing the song on the show and I'm like, this kind of sounds like Hot Hot Heat. And I remember Googling it and I was like, oh my God. That's the coolest thing. Yeah, no, shout out to Mr. Young. It's so awesome. I did also want to ask, because a project that you also worked on a short film that's still kind of doing the festival circuits a little bit. You worked on Jane, directed by Sydney Scotia. Shout out to Sydney Scotia. And I just wanted to kind of know about that project a little bit. And it seems like it is still doing the festival runs and everything. What was that project like for you?
Oh, well, it came around. Sydney reached out to me and said she had this role for me in this film, and she sent me the script. And I mean, it's about gaslighting, essentially, and it just felt very of the time, and it was a really interesting story and really amazing people attached to that film, and so I was happy to come out and play for a few days. So it's been really cool to see all of its success in the festival. It's
a really great feeling when you get a right group of people. You just make something awesome, right? Absolutely.
I honestly, sometimes independent productions are my most favorite to work on because everyone's there because they want to be there, and they can be the most beautiful experiences.
Absolutely. when you wrapped influencer, because I do find it interesting because a lot of that, like maybe like looks like it was a vacation for you, but like some of that I can't even imagine some of those scenes in preparation. But what was the mindset when you wrapped influencer? Because I feel like it depends on the project. Were you like, I need to take a break? Were you like, all right, on to the next? Like, what was your specific mindset wrapping that project?
To be honest, 2021 felt like a very transformative year for me. Yeah. And wrapping that film was just another moment of like major appreciation for life, for travel, for meeting new people, for being in this beautiful place, and for getting this opportunity. That's how I felt like I was on cloud nine when I wrapped. It was truly an incredible experience, and I was just so grateful. In what other worlds than film do we get to have 11 random people from different walks of life come together to create this thing together? And then we all go on our own way. And I mean, we're all still friends for sure, but we live in different places and things like that. And I'm just so grateful to get to do this for a living.
It's so great. And I'll tell you what I think the coolest thing about Influencer being available now in Shudder, and it's the same thing with Open 24 Hours as well. Because I'm a huge horror movie fan to the point where like I watch them all year round. But of course, there's certain kind of times of the year where you watch them more, right? Like spooky season. It's really awesome to think about the fact that like Influencer is going to be part of, and I'll recommend it because, like, with Popternative, we always recommend things and everyone's looking for things to watch. It'll be part of that heavy rotation and those like horror movie marathons for people for many years. Isn't that cool to think about that it is in the mix for that? Like, I think that's the coolest thing.
Oh my gosh, I love the idea of that. I mean, I think it's been like the outpouring of support since the movies come out and how much people love it. I don't know that any of us really expected it. We're very, very proud of what we did. It's incredible what we were able to do with 11 people traveling in Thailand. And just to see how much people are loving it, it's so awesome. So the idea that it'll be a classic for some people, that's so great. And just how topical it is right now. Like the timing of it for this to come out, well, AI and
okay.
And again, at the forefront.
I don't want to. Yes, again, like I want people going fresh, and I don't want to bring in big spoilers, but the AI component is so scary, and it's.
I know.
God.
Ooh, it's wild, and again, just the timing of this coming out right now, you're like, okay, yeah.
Are you starting to kind of? I mean, you kind of saw the glimpses of the horror movie fan base with other projects as well, but like they eat up all the content. Like they really do. Like they watch a lot of stuff, which is I think awesome because then it has an opportunity for people that liked Open 24 Hours to be like, oh, Emily's got a new horror movie, like Influencer. You can do a double header, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so cool. I love the idea of that.
Yeah, the Emily Tennant horror double, and then we could do a triple header when that new movie comes out.
Hey, there we go.
You love working in that genre, and I love that you work a lot in that genre. It's the best. Like,
yeah, I've been really fortunate to have a career that's allowed me to dabble in everything, but I'm here for more horror. That would be so fun.
This is like, I mean, obviously especially when you're starting out, I mean, because I've asked this question to a lot of other people and I find it really interesting. I mean, you just want to go where the opportunities go and you want to kind of work and you want to kind of create, right? But do you at some point think about the fact that, wow, like maybe it would be cool to work on a lot of different genres, or does it kind of just happen?
There's certainly, I mean, I'm dying to work on another comedy. My agents know that. That's where my heart is at the moment. I would love to land there, but you just kind of see what comes through and you feel it out and you're like, is this a good fit for me right now? For sure. Some people have really carved out careers in certain genres, and that's great. Hopefully they love working in that genre and they can keep going. I hope that I always get to do a little bit of everything.
Emily, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
I really appreciate that. Influencer is streaming now on Shudder. They can check it out.
Yes, it is. Go check it out.
Oh, it's so crazy. And in your Instagram account, they just put Emily Tennant. They'll find you, right?
Emily J. Tennant. You'll find me.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Emily Tennant stars in Influencer, streaming now on Shudder. Until next time, this is Emily and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.